Gentlemen, to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about WWE Backlash 2025 review. Short, sweet, to the point. I thought the show was a fun, entertaining show for what it was, but it had some flaws. The last two matches, I'd say people could criticize a lot, but the first three matches, such as the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE United States Championship match, was a fun one. Solo Sikoa introduced Jeff Cobb to the new Bloodline at the end of the match, which was a lot of fun. I was surprised that Jeff Cobb even showed up at this event. I knew he was coming, but I didn't know he was going to show up at during this match. It's not surprising he showed up for the Bloodline, but for this match to help Jacob Fatu retain his United States Championship was a bit of a surprise. I thought the WWE Intercontinental Championship for the women's side of things was actually a fun match as well. Valkyria retained her championship. I will go over the ratings for each match as well. I thought this was a fun match, and Valkyria retained her title. I was not shocked by this. I actually picked Valkyria to win this match. I thought that would be the right way to go. She needed a big win. Becky Lynch didn't look bad in defeat, so it didn't harm her in any way. So I think Valkyria really needed this W. The fans were heavily invested in this match overall, and I thought it was a successful match. Don't get me wrong, there was probably some botches that I didn't catch or what have you, but it still was not a bad match for what it was. The fans were highly entertained, very happy that the outcome of the match was Valkyria. People still cheered for Becky Lynch during this matchup, but Valkyria had quite a few fans that were cheering for her to win the match. So it was split about 50-50 overall, I think. And I thought it was a pretty entertaining matchup, and they delivered very well here. The Intercontinental Championship with Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. I thought this was a fun, entertaining matchup and a very good one. Overall, Chad Gable as Americano, La Grande Americano, helped Dominic Mysterio retain the Intercontinental Championship against Penta. We should probably see a match between Penta and El Grande Americano at some point. I'd imagine they're going to have this match at Money in the Bank, possibly, or on a Monday Night Raw episode, more than likely. I don't know. I think they should be put into the Money in the Bank ladder match to give them some interaction during this matchup, which comes on June 7th. So, yeah, I think that this match was fairly decent as well. Dominic Mysterio retained his title, as I believed he should have. I didn't think he was going to lose this match. I mean, that would be fucking weird. He lost the Intercontinental title on his first title defense. That would have been messed up. And Dominic Mysterio still has that crowd reaction of cheers. People are really interested in Dominic Mysterio now that he's the Intercontinental Champion. I am very happy for Dominic Mysterio. It's about damn time this guy is getting the push he deserves. He's getting it. He's slowly but surely starting to get that confidence. He's looking like he has with his character anyway. I'm saying on screen, his character looks like it's gaining some confidence, feeling like a leader, and eventually he's just going to shit can Finn Balor at some point. But yeah, Dominic Mysterio won that match, and it was a fun one as it was. But then we get to the last two matches. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. I enjoyed this match, but the one thing that I didn't like, that made it really kind of go downhill for me, was the ending. First of all, we had fucking Michael Cole not doing his job, but he did mention he was going to be biased, but I didn't figure he was going to, go away from the commentary booth and start hollering at Gunther to just end the match already. He then gets involved in the match, trying to hold Gunther's foot down so he has a harder time kicking out. The referee did not see that, and he still kicked out anyway. Pat McAfee then was put in the rear naked choke by Gunther, and Pat McAfee did not tap out. He put up a fight. Now, I got a question. You're the World Heavyweight Champion at the time of WrestleMania against Jey Uso. Jey Uso puts you in the same hold you put others in, and you tap out instantly. But Pat McAfee, you book him to make him try to fight his way out of the rear naked choke, and he does. He tries to fight out instead of instantly tapping or passing out. Like, that really was insulting to me, because you're really devaluing the character of Gunther. He was in the midst of defending his world title. You would have thought he was going to, fight his way out of that rear naked choke, and he doesn't do shit. He's he's awake while he's tapping out. I mean, that's ridiculous. And I thought that was shit too when it actually happened. He should have just, tried to fight his way out of it, and then ended up losing anyway by passing out, because Jey Uso put his, the rear naked choke on him so tight that at that point he would eventually fall asleep, not tap out. But Pat McAfee, we protect him. He doesn't tap out. He passes out. And takes a long time to pass out, nonetheless. I thought that was garbage. The match was good. I'm not going to say the match was terrible. A lot of people thought Pat McAfee was going to get his ass kicked. I did not. I didn't think it was going to be a one-sided ass beating. Pat McAfee is good at what he does in the ring for what he can do. And he was fantastic, but the ending, the execution of the ending was just, it was terrible. I thought that comparing the two outcomes of what happened with Gunther's last match at WrestleMania and comparing it to this just makes me feel like, what the fuck are they doing with Gunther outside of making him look bad? That's really what I'm getting at with this. I thought that was absolutely terrible to have Gunther look like shit in defeat, tapping out instantly, but Pat McAfee is able to be put in the same hold, and Gunther, being this dominating wrestler, can't put Pat McAfee away in less than 30 seconds. I mean, come on, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Match was fun, but the ending just was insulting to the audience's intelligence, I think. I think that absolutely sucked. They should have had Pat McAfee just pass out instantly from the hold, or just tap out like Gunther did. And it would have been fine. But unfortunately, they didn't do neither, and it just came across very terrible, in my opinion. And then the main event for the WWE Championship with John Cena and Randy Orton. I feel as if John Cena has become the new JBL of pro wrestling with this WWE Championship run. I can tell that John Cena is not the same flexible guy. He doesn't have the same pace in the ring. He's more slow in the ring than he used to. He definitely is, entertaining at what he does for the limitations that he has. But it's how many RKOs and AAs did we see in this match? I mean, it was outrageous. I'd say it was over 10, between the two of them, I'd say it was over 10 executed RKOs and AAs in the middle of this match. We had this fucking... During the match, Randy Orton was hitting RKOs on the fucking officials. Hit an RKO on Nick Aldis. I almost said Nigel McGuinness. I don't know why. Yeah, but he hit an RKO on Nick Aldis. He hit an RKO on Jason Jordan. He hit a fucking RKO on Jamie Noble. I mean, like, he fucking killing everybody off like nobody's business. Everybody's worrying about the referee. All this insane bullshit. This is all convoluted garbage. And we couldn't even get we couldn't do shit during this match to get to the ending outside of a low blow and a title shot to the head by John Cena to Randy Orton. Not to mention R-Truth got in the middle of the match. R-Truth, Orton had a possibility of connecting with the punt kick, and R-Truth comes out of nowhere, gets in the middle of the ring, tells him, no, you can't do this. This is John Cena. He's my guy. RKOs him, and then looks at R-Truth and says, what the hell are you doing? Why did you do that? He's getting all distracted. He gets low blowed. The title's in the middle of the ring. And John Cena hits him with the championship belt. And that's how the match ends, with him with a pinfall. Same way he did at WrestleMania. This was a rinse and repeat of what we saw at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes. The only difference was there was no Travis Scott this time. It was R-Truth instead. I'm mind blown by all of this. This was absolute trash. Very, very repetitive. Lack of variety of moves involved in this match. Just overall, just fucking utterly ridiculous. I've noticed the last two pay-per-views we've had between WrestleMania and Backlash, the beginning portion of the shows are good, and this is just for WrestleMania Night 2, not Night 1. Night 1 was a superb fucking show. Or not, the main event of Night 1 was a superb fucking show. The whole rest of the show was trash, pretty much. It wasn't all that entertaining. But yeah, I mean, you got pretty much Night 2 as a pure Backlash being a mirror of Night 2 WrestleMania. I think that is absolutely dreadful. I hope this is not the same repetitive shit to come in the future. But damn, like, what the fuck did I watch here? 2 weeks from now, we got a subpar, you could look at it as like a pay-per-view type of event or PLE type of event with Saturday night's main event. It was announced on the show last night that Jey Uso and Logan Paul's world title match will take place at this event. I don't know why this was postponed. They mentioned it for Backlash, then they drove it to Saturday night's main event. It probably will be the main event of the show, more than likely, I would imagine. But Backlash, I would say, was on the right track until the last two matches. And then it just kind of fell off the rails completely and just fell apart. I think that they've fucked up big time for these two matches, and if they would have done the right thing towards these two matches, it would have went over very well as an overall show. So, my attitude is, not a bad show, but still, the last two matches really killed it for me. I don't know what you guys thought, but I'll give you guys the ratings of all these matches. The U.S. Championship match was a great opener. I thought it would have been weird. I didn't think that this match should have been the opener until it unfolded in front of me. I thought Dominic Mysterio and Penta would have been a good way to kickstart the show because it's one-on-one for the IC Championship, but these guys did not fail to rev up the crowd because the crowd was highly entertained throughout the entire show. The majority of the show had a lot of fan reaction. I felt as if we went to another country, and technically we didn't. We were in St. Louis, Missouri. So St. Louis brought it last night. They were really interested in what was being provided to them. And, this match, the Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight, was a home run in my opinion. I think this really went over well. Jeff Cobb was introduced, as I mentioned earlier in this video. Solo Sikoa helped Jacob Fatu win the match. The problem is Jacob Fatu seemed a little confused and off about all this and why he would bring him in. I figured Jeff Cobb would have came into this to, fuck up Jacob Fatu at the end of all this. And we would have seen a turn on Jacob Fatu, making Jacob Fatu a babyface, which I'd imagine is probably the direction they're going to go. They're just kind of taking their time to get there. But yeah, Jacob Fatu is getting a lot of fan reaction in a positive way. People are not booing him. They are receiving him very well. They've been doing it since the moment he came into the WWE, quite frankly. So I'd imagine by mid-portion of this title defense, title run that he's having with the U.S. Championship, he will turn babyface, or possibly after he loses the title, it'll be a screw job by Jeff Cobb, and Jeff Cobb will be the new muscle guy replacing Jacob Fatu from the Bloodline. That's what I imagine will happen here. The rating of this match, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a very successful opener. I think it did the job well, and it carried over into the next match, which was the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Lyra Valkyria defending the title against Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch ends up losing the match. I have to admit, her acting as a heel is a little over the top. If she would just tone it down a bit and act more natural as a heel, I think she would be received well as a heel. I think people wouldn't feel bad about booing her, but they just are not buying into this Becky Lynch heel. Becky Lynch just does not work as a heel. She is over the top. She tries too hard, and it just doesn't come off well. It looks terrible. And you see this in the middle of the match as she's connecting with these finishing maneuvers and trying to pin her, and she can't get the job done. And she just sits there and is biting her nails and just acting all fidgety and crazy. Like, really? Like, you can't just have her just naturally be like, come on, would you go away? Just stay the fuck down. I mean, take a prime example of like Triple H. I mean, he'll look at his opponent and say, stay down. Stay down. Kurt Angle, same difference. Like, you see Kurt Angle against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. He's yelling and screaming at Shawn Michaels to stay the fuck down. And he gets kicked in the face. That's what we need to see from Becky Lynch. We need to see her when she's in a situation like that, scream at her opponent and say, stay down, damn it. And, have that nervous look in her eyes like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? But she does it to overkill. She goes overboard with it. And I think that's probably why she's not received well as a heel. In my personal opinion, I honestly could see that in the middle of this match. Her promos are over the fucking top. She repeats herself. She said garbage multiple times in the fucking promo uh, in the Go Home show of Raw. So, I mean, she's doing. Her wrestling is fantastic. It's not bad at all. The match went over well. I'm giving this match a 4 out of 5 stars as well. This was a good match for being in second place. Generally, a match in the second, as a second match on a card, it's not exactly great to be in because it's one of the hardest because you come off of a match that opened the show that was received well. It's kind of hard to continue that momentum. Not to mention it's not the most important story on the show, so they kind of like are looked over as if it's time for a bathroom break. I just went ahead and enjoyed the opener. I'm going to go take a piss or a shit or get something from the concession stand. So they go ahead and they might do something like that. This match did not have that kind of reaction. It had a positive reaction, in my opinion. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was a fun matchup, and I think it could have been a way of putting... I think that would have been better to put that match on the co-main event. But then again, we had Michael Cole getting involved in that match. So I guess, yeah, it's okay. It was fine for where it was in the co-main event, being almost the last match on the card. So yeah, I guess being where they put them was fine. I didn't think it was terrible. But yeah, the fan reaction carried over into this match, and it went over well in my opinion. I didn't think this was a bad match at all. Next up, we had, again, Dominic Mysterio defending the IC Championship against Penta. I'm giving this match a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It did lose me a little bit. I guess maybe it's more me than an overall consensus of what people might have thought of the match. Maybe people thought it was better than what I think it is. But I thought it was fair. I thought it was a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And it was a fun match. I really thought that this was enjoyable, despite the fact I'm rating it a little bit lower than the first two matches that took place. But yes, this was a good, entertaining mid-card match that went over well in my personal opinion. And Dominic Mysterio still is fucking getting the fans to cheer for him. This wasn't a one-time only thing just because he won the IC title. This is on account of the fact the fans are truly invested in Dominic Mysterio now that he's the IC champion. And I think that's fantastic. Gunther and Pat McAfee, I'd say this match was a 3 out of... I'm being a little too generous. I'm lowering that. It's 2 out of 5 stars. This was good, but the insulting my intelligence really dragged the show down, the match down for me. And not to mention, I think a lot of other people would say, well, what about him not, dominating the match against Pat McAfee? Well, I'll lump that in there as well to have a reason to be at a 2 out of 5 stars of a match itself. But yeah, this was insulting to my intelligence what they did at the end, as I already mentioned. So 2 out of 5 stars for that match. Gunther wins the match, and then John Cena, Randy Orton. I'm gonna say that this is a 3 because, well, yeah, I'd say this was a 3 out of 5 stars. It was still entertaining. It was high octane of entertainment from the crowd. The crowd really was invested in this match, but of course it was Randy Orton. He's the fucking hometown guy. But I did like the destruction of all the people in the middle of the ring, the chaos that was involved in it. I thought that was fun to watch, but the ending just did not work for me. Having a rinse and repeat of what we saw at WrestleMania with John Cena and Cody Rhodes for the title, this being pretty much almost the same thing, a distraction by outsider in the middle of the match. This time being R-Truth instead of Travis Scott, and him just distracting Randy Orton and fucking up his possibility of connecting with the punt kick. I mean, it kind of killed it for me a little bit by having this rinse and repeat. It was like, really? I just saw this last pay-per-view. Now I'm seeing it here in the same situation. Rinse and repeat. So I'd say that is 3 out of 5 stars. It's deserving of that rating. I mean, some people might say, why not 2.5 out of 5 stars? I mean, if you want to go that route, sure, but I'm going to say 3 out of 5 stars. Overall, I thought the show was fun, but it just had its downfalls at the end, and it kind of came off the rails quite a bit at the end with those 2 matches, and it kind of ruined it a little bit for me. Would I go back and watch this? Probably, but, I mean, like, there's just some things on this card that just, the last 2 matches, I wouldn't be satisfied sitting through and watching. Definitely Pat McAfee Gunther match I would skip. The rest of it I'd watch. I think Randy Orton and John Cena, despite the limitations that they have because of John Cena getting older, he's not moving around the ring very well as much as he used to, but he's still pulling off some good matches. It's just they need to change it up with the endings with him. It's just rinse and repeat of the same shit. And that's where I have my issues with John Cena at this point in time. But at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.